I know the real Bernie Mac stories, and I know that the people that made money off Bernie Mac didn't like him. They hated his guts.
You don't do your material around a lot of comedians. That's like stealing in front of the police. They sit on the side, ooh, that's funny. Next thing you know, you see it on HBO or
Start with Bernie, then come for me. I'm the next king. That's what was said, loud and clear. But what if everything you thought you knew about Bernie Mac was a lie? What if behind the laughs, the jokes, and the movie deals, there was a storm brewing, one way darker than anybody was ready for? Bernie tried to warn everybody. He wasn't just out here cracking jokes, he was sounding the alarm. Hollywood ain't no place for the weak. But who exactly was Bernie calling out? And why did folks like Oprah and Steve Harvey keep their mouths shut while Bernie was drowning in the same game they thrived in? Let's be real. It was Steve's tour. So ask yourself, did Bernie Mac speak too loud, too real? Did he get silenced for saying what others were too scared to whisper? Now, Katt Williams. He ain't holding back. His recent confessions? They're digging up the truth about Bernie's final days, exposing who was real and who was just playing the part. This goes way deeper than Hollywood beef. We're talking snakes in suits, pulling strings while smiling in your face. Did Bernie seal his fate the moment he said nah to their weird little games? He wasn't trying to play the puppet, and Hollywood don't like rebels. From the jump, Bernie was bold. Long before Hollywood crowned him as a top-tier comic, he was already warning young artists about the danger lurking behind the fame. And trust, he wasn't scared to speak on it. He called out the twisted pressure entertainers face, the obsession with control, the shady expectations. Bernie refused to be part of that. Hollywood kids on lapsed antics? He wasn't having none of it. That man stood tall and loud, and it ruffled a lot of rich, powerful feathers. He tried to tell the world, this industry ain't built to nurture talent. It's designed to use you up, chew you out, and leave you begging for validation. That's the truth. And the older he got, the louder he got. Bernie started clashing with some of the biggest names in the game. And some of them, they didn't like it one bit. Word's coming out now. Oprah and Steve, they might have had reasons to keep Bernie quiet. Why? Again, it was Steve's tour. That means money, that means reputation, and it means secrets. These two rolled with some powerful, controversial people, including Diddy. And we all know the rumors about Diddy's elite-only secret parties. The kind that don't make it to TMZ. Bernie wanted nothing to do with that world. He warned about those parties, the twisted manipulation, the strange rituals, all that stuff that leaves stars questioning everything. He saw through the glitz, and he tried to get others to see it too. Bernie had heart. He had a vision, one that was meant to uplift the next generation of comedians. But the more he spoke, the more they shut him out. He was too real in a place that thrives on fakes. In one infamous interview, Bernie basically said comedians were expected to compromise everything just to make it big. He didn't just hint, he made it clear. And after that, things started getting ugly. Katt Williams, who saw Bernie as both a mentor and a friend, said it straight. Once you start exposing how Hollywood really works, you become a target. And let's not forget, Katt's fought his own battles with this machine. But Bernie, he stood tall until the end. Even as he got sick, they worked him like he was still at full strength. He was visibly unwell, but they kept pushing him to perform, to film, to keep smiling. His daughter even backed that up, confirming he was overworked and barely taken care of. That ain't just rough, that's exploitation. And while fans loved him, the industry's top dogs, they stayed silent. Bernie didn't just deal with Hollywood drama, he came from deep pain. Early in life, he suffered heavy losses. His mom, his dad, his brother, all gone. But it was his mother's illness that hit the hardest. In an interview with Howard Stern, Bernie shared something heartbreaking. As a kid, he came home one day hyped up after hitting a home run. But when he stepped inside, that joy vanished. He saw his mother uncovered. And there it was, a scar across her chest. It froze him. He didn't know what it meant at the time, but he knew something was wrong. That scar? It was from a mastectomy. His mom didn't want him to worry. She told him, close the door, trying to protect him from the truth. Bernie was just a kid, scared and confused. He ran to his grandma for answers. That moment stuck with him forever. Even when young Bernie was desperate for answers, his grandma sent him right back to his mama, who still wouldn't open up about her condition. But behind that silence, she was preparing for the inevitable. In a heartbreaking move, Bernie's mother wrote a 10-page letter to his aunt before she passed, explaining everything, including how to raise Bernie without her. In that letter, she made it clear she believed in her boy. She knew he had the strength to make it through whatever storm came his way. The interviewer, clearly moved, thanked Bernie for showing that raw side, the part that wasn't jokes and applause, but real pain. Bernie said it best: "It takes true strength to show who you really are." He found power in accepting himself and wasn't scared to be vulnerable. But once Bernie grew up, a new beast showed up: Hollywood. And with it came all kinds of shady demands. Before the lights and cameras, Bernie was hustling hard, working every kind of job you can think of just to provide for his family and chase his dream. He cleaned buildings, flipped food in kitchens, moved furniture, all while grinding for a shot at the mic. That struggle? It built him. It made him relentless. But no one told him that success in Hollywood would come with a price, a steep one. His big break came in 1992 on HBO's Def Comedy Jam, and from there, everything changed. That show put Bernie on the map, but what really set him apart was the fire he brought after. His style, his energy, and his raw truth left a permanent mark on the comedy world. Still, with every step up, the pressure to compromise got louder. And these weren't small things. These were disturbing demands. Things that straight up clashed with Bernie's values. Some say he was told to play roles or do scenes that just felt wrong. And the fact that he kept saying no may not be a coincidence with how his life tragically ended. One fan resurfaced a behind-the-scenes clip from the Bernie Mac show, and the caption said it all. "The agendas we see in Hollywood are not new. They've been trying to push this stuff on black shows for a while." In the clip, someone allegedly tried to have a teen boy sit on Bernie's lap for a promo shoot, and Bernie shut that all the way down. At first, it looked like Bernie was just unlucky, like he was the only one facing these twisted moments, but turns out he might have just been the first to see through the mess, because more entertainers started coming forward. And their stories? Wild. Take Dave Chappelle. Would you believe this man walked away from a $50 million deal in 2004? Yup, just bounced. But when you hear his story, it starts to make sense. Chappelle sat down with Oprah in 2006 and exposed some of the same dark truths Bernie had been trying to highlight. He said Hollywood had a nasty habit of labeling celebs crazy whenever they spoke out, especially about one thing in particular: men in dresses. In Black communities, that's always been a heavy subject. There's been a lot of talk over the years about how pushing male comedians to cross-dress can feel more like mockery than comedy. It's got folks wondering, is this just about laughs, or is there a bigger message being sent? You've seen the characters, Shanae from Martin, Medea from Tyler Perry's movies. And yeah, some people find them hilarious, but others, they call it straight-up emasculation. Chappelle shared with Oprah how, on set, the producers and writers pushed hard to get him to wear a dress. They told him, all the greats have done it, but Chappelle wasn't having it. He stood firm and walked away. He later said it felt like part of a bigger plan, like there was an actual agenda to get strong Black male figures to break down their identity for entertainment. He said, all the comics I grew up watching, strong brothers, why they keep putting us in dresses? That hit deep. Now, unlike Chappelle, who stood his ground, plenty of other big-name comics did end up taking those roles. Eddie Murphy, for example, he put on the dress for both the Nutty Professor and the Klumps. And sure, those roles made people laugh. But at what cost? And then came Norbit. But let's be real, Hollywood's problems with Bernie Mac went way beyond pushing him into uncomfortable roles. According to actor Reginald Ballard, Hollywood was straight up running Bernie into the ground. Ballard, who acted alongside Bernie in the all-star cast of Ocean's 11, didn't hold back. He spoke on how brutal the industry was on Bernie's body and mind. During filming, Bernie opened up to the cast, letting them know he was drowning in work. He told us he was doing too much, Ballard said. When Brad Pitt broke his ankle and caused delays, it messed up Bernie's whole schedule. He had to rush through multiple projects, including Guess Who? And he felt nobody cared that the delays weren't even his fault. This shines a harsh light on just how hard Hollywood was squeezing Bernie, juggling back-to-back film roles, interviews, promo shoots, all while battling serious health issues. It wasn't just burnout, it was physical decline. Ballard even revealed that during Ocean's 11, Bernie was already in bad shape. He had just been hospitalized before the shoot and was taking strong meds like prednisone, which changed how he looked and made it harder for him to breathe. We'd do a scene, and he'd have to go upstairs to his dressing room to get oxygen, Ballard recalled. Then he'd come right back down and finish the scene like nothing happened. That man was working while sick, just to keep up. And why? Some say Bernie was overworking himself just to prove his worth to an industry that never fully accepted him. He wanted to show he could carry it all, but at what cost? By 2000, Bernie had already earned his crown in comedy. That year, the original Kings of Comedy, directed by Spike Lee, became a cultural earthquake. Featuring Bernie alongside Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, and D.L. Hewley, the special was taped over 2 explosive nights in Charlotte, North Carolina. It tackled everything: race, religion, relationships, America, all wrapped in comedy fire. But behind the roar of applause, something darker was brewing. While the film launched a movement and inspired spin-offs, rumors started bubbling under the surface, suggesting Bernie's career never reached its full potential due to tension among the kings themselves. Cedric confirmed it. Bernie and Steve Harvey didn't exactly vibe. They were both alpha males, Cedric said on Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay podcast. They just saw things different, but they got through it. Still, Cedric admitted the drama was so thick, it likely killed any chance of another Kings of Comedy tour. And it wasn't just personality clashes. Cedric hinted that the tour's promoter started letting the fame get to his head, thinking the whole movement was about him. That ego, mixed with beef between comedians, turned something powerful into chaos. But then came the real shocker. In a 2003 GQ interview, Bernie claimed Steve Harvey was jealous of him, even accusing Steve of trying to sabotage him for movie roles. That shook the whole industry. Steve fired back, saying he was furious when he read the article. "I was upset because it just wasn't true," Steve said. "Me and Bernie had a lot of good times together. Then this article in GQ drops all this vicious stuff." According to Steve, he talked to Bernie directly about it. Bernie told him he never said those things. "I had to take him at his word," Steve admitted. But it didn't stop the tension from hanging in the air. After Bernie passed, Steve said it was Bernie's widow, Rhonda McCullough, who helped him finally find peace. "Rhonda, of all people, knows the truth," Steve said. "That moment was a cleanse for me. I let a lot of stuff go." To this day, nobody really knows what caused the beef between Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey. Was it ego? Was it jealousy? Or was it something deeper, maybe connected to Hollywood's hidden games? One thing's for sure. Bernie's grind, his battles, and the pressure he carried were way heavier than most people ever knew. Steve Harvey once said he had a cleansing moment after Bernie's passing, and honestly, that might have been his quiet way of admitting there was some unfinished business. But while Steve chose silence, Katt Williams picked up the mic and kept Bernie's legacy alive, loud, raw, and unfiltered. Katt lit Hollywood on fire during his appearance on Club Shay Shay on January 4th, and he had plenty to say about Steve. He didn't hold back for a second. That same Steve went to go watch Mark Curry do his sitcom and stole everything, Katt snapped. Now he got a show where he, the principal, wearing a suit, rocking a high-top fade, got every black dude thinking he got the crispiest lineup, and it's a man unit. And then he really turned up the heat. You ask him why he ain't a movie star? He says he didn't want to be one. This the same dude that hated on Bernie Mac with the exact same moves. Every year, Hollywood drops 30,000 new scripts. Not one of them is asking for a country bumpkin who talks funny and looks like Mr. Potato. There ain't none. Williams didn't stop there. He explained why he refused a role in the original Kings of Comedy. "I know the truth," he said. "You think you can trash Bernie and then come get me? I'm the next king. Why? 'Cause the whole time Bernie was alive, you acted like you were funnier than him. The only reason you went last on that tour? 'Cause it was your tour. Say it. It was Steve's tour." This wasn't Katt's first time speaking up. In a Vlad TV interview, he peeled back the curtain even more, saying Bernie's entire rise and fall may have been orchestrated. Katt claimed the same Hollywood moguls who made millions off Bernie's name were the ones who hated him the most behind the scenes. The picture he painted, cold, ruthless. Like Bernie wasn't being lifted up, he was being used. According to Katt, Bernie's success wasn't thanks to true industry support. It was calculated exploitation. And once Bernie started stepping out of line, once he said no to their control, it was a wrap. Katt said flat out, Hollywood manipulates the narrative, twisting stories to protect the powerful and bury the outspoken. But Katt ain't the only one keeping it real. Bernie's own daughter, Janice McCullough, recently co-signed what Katt said and gave him major love. She said she appreciated how genuine Katt's words were. Some people are giving my dad his flowers now that he's gone, but you wasn't doing that when he was alive, she said. And that's not just celebs, regular people too. Janice made it clear. Her father was the man people now praise all along. A real one. She said Katt's respect was proof that Bernie Mac's integrity ran deep. It does my heart good that the man I knew him to be is exactly who he was to the world, she said. And she even mentioned being open to having a sit-down with Katt, saying she felt the love was real. Still, after everything that's been revealed, the same question hangs in the air. Why did Oprah and Steve stay silent when Bernie was clearly struggling? The truth might lie in the company they kept. Oprah, known for her powerful industry ties, was rumored to attend the same elite gatherings Bernie spoke out against. And Steve? Well, instead of challenging the machine, he aligned with it. He played the game, while Bernie rejected it. Reports over the years have pointed to Oprah and Diddy sharing close ties with some of the most controversial figures in Hollywood. And Bernie's warnings about those secretive parties. They line up suspiciously well with those same circles. Katt even hinted maybe Bernie was getting too close to exposing the truth, a truth the elite didn't want out in the open. Bernie Mac said no to their games, no to their strange rituals, no to being controlled. And because of that, he made enemies in very high places. So now the question is, did Hollywood protect itself by silencing Bernie? And did Oprah and Steve stay loyal to the industry instead of their friend? Only a few people know the real story. But the signs are all there. Rest in power, Bernie Mac, a king who never bowed down. If you're feeling this deep dive, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop a comment with your thoughts on what really happened to Bernie. Catch you in the next one. It only gets wilder from here. Peace.